You had some white guy on the show.
Okay.
Full head of hair.
Yes.
Nice big white teeth.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, this is going to be the best podcast ever. Like,
I know where you're going.
Scott McGilvery, if you're watching, yours might be the second best podcast, just like the show. Your show is the second best show, you know? So I just wanted to establish that.
Hey, thanks for listening in to the REC Experience podcast. I'm your host, Jas Takhar, sitting with Elto. What's happening?
Hey, Jazzy, how's it going?
Good. We got season 3, episode 5.
We do.
And that was good. Like today's episode, really, Rav and I rocked it out.
But before we get into it,
Okay.
we should just, I think, given that Sunday is your favorite day of the year, and although this episode will be coming out after the Super Bowl,
Yes.
we recorded it before the Super Bowl.
Right.
So I think that we should give it the courtesy it's due, and you should.
You're going to go down the prediction route or
Yeah,
something?
yeah.
Oh, wow. Truth of the matter is my Cowboys are not in it, so that
you don't really care.
Really peeves me. But it's a tradition, and so I'll be watching this at a friend's house. Been doing this for almost a little over a decade now. We've been doing this, so this is going to be really interesting because I'm going to get to see a lot of faces I haven't seen in a while. In terms of predictions, I kind of have to go I got to go heart and head here.
Right. I hear you.
You got it?
I know already where you're going.
Okay,
with this.
so I hope the Rams win,
Of course.
only because
they're not the Patriots.
Yeah, they're just not like anyone against the Patriots. Like I'm not a fan of Brady, not a fan of Belichick. Totally respect them both, and my partner Simeon is loving this because the guy's been watching them in the Super Bowl for the last who knows how many years. But I hope that the Rams win. But something tells me that, see, when you give Belichick generally 2 weeks off to start to scheme, they've won more than they've lost, right? And so, what about you though?
I think it's going to be the Patriots, but only because I didn't really know who else they were playing. It doesn't really matter who they're playing. That's who's going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, okay, I like that. Where will you be watching?
I'll be watching at home probably with, a pound of chicken wings delivered to the house, I'm sure. Yeah. I like to keep it cozy.
Wings, maybe nachos.
Maybe some nachos. We do barbecued nachos, on a cast iron
Oh, that's
pan.
cool.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how cold it is? Is it you go out, hubby goes out?
I don't go out.
Okay,
Send the hubby out.
Nice. He has to stand in the cold.
Sometimes I'm good with the traditional male-female roles.
I like that.
And I know you're doing a big party.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, we're a huge party at a friend's house, and so it's going to be interesting. I'm really, really excited to, again, see some faces I haven't seen in a while. But this week's episode.
This one was fun, for me at least, to watch.
Why do you say that?
Well, our guest, Rav Toor, you've been on his show.
Yes.
And I got to see him host last year, host you and Simeon, and then this time we turned the tables, and now you were hosting him.
Wealth of knowledge.
Definitely.
Guy started his first investment property was at 16 years old. Think about when you were 16.
I was not remotely thinking about investing in real estate.
Not even
at
close,
all.
right?
Yeah.
And so for him to have done his first property at that age and then continue with it, and now he's semi-retired. Well, really
he's
is kind of
living
fully
the
retired.
dream in a way.
He is, right?
Yeah.
Lives by the lake.
Professors too, which made me really happy.
Yeah, I know.
Again, I'm born and raised in Brampton.
Right.
I too used to walk around Professors
Right.
Lake.
And
So it was funny to hear that.
Kids are homeschooled, gets to spend a lot of time with them. The real reason I originally wanted him on was because to show our viewers and so our listeners can hear that real estate offers you something really, really neat, right? Which is the ability, if done properly and strategically, there's ways that you really can retire very early and have the real estate do all the work for you. And he did it.
Yeah, he gave some good tips on types of investments, things that are extremely passive, and ultimately what it boils down to is your why. Are you looking for retirement at 45, or are you just looking for something when I'm 70, I can sell some properties off? Or is it the goal to give properties to your kids and have them learn the ins and outs of real estate? So that was sort of the one big takeaway was really nail down what your why is.
Yeah, and he's even went in, like he spoke about how he did real estate with his mom, and now his son's getting into it. So the whole like generation and the whole family
full circle.
Comes really full circle.
It was awesome.
Thanks again, Alto.
You bet.
Guys, as always, like, share, comment. Your feedback really means the world to us. I know a lot of you are listening, but not all of you have subscribed. Please take the time, subscribe to you, the viewers. Press that red button and that little bell beside it, because then it notifies you when new episodes come out. And as always, just give us your feedback. Take care, guys.
REC Experience presents Real Estate, Entrepreneurship, Leadership with your host, Jas Takhar. The REC Experience podcast is now on air.
I've been wanting to sit with this man to the left of me for a very long time. And one of the main reasons is because today's going to be an interesting discussion and an interesting podcast because we have two hosts. So, Mr. Rav Toor, thank you for joining us.
It's amazing to be here. And not just two hosts, two Indian hosts.
Yeah.
That are wearing green.
Yes, for our viewers.
We didn't decide that.
We didn't call each
but
other.
I think green is like money green. I'm wearing green.
Yes, you are.
But I do have one thing to say just from the get-go, right off the top.
Okay.
You had some white guy on the show.
Okay.
Full head of hair.
Yes.
Nice big white teeth.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, this is going to be the best podcast ever. Like,
I know where you're going.
Scott McGillivray, if you're watching, yours might be the second best podcast, just like the show. Your show is the second best show, you know? So I just wanted to establish that.
I love the fact that he's a mutual friend of ours. Mr. Michael Saracini's a mutual friend of ours.
I love those guys. They're awesome, yes.
You know, I have to say, myself and my partner Simeon and our team, we're so blessed to know guys like yourself, Scott and Mike, because I really, truly believe everyone's kind of cut from the same cloth.
Good times.
Right? Just good times. You've known those guys for a very long time. Yeah. I was going down the path of two hosts because you obviously have your TV show, Everyday Investor, that you've had, how many years now?
15. Whoa. Kind of changed the names here and there before, you know? I think it was Inside Real Estate and then In Tune with Real Estate, but then we wanted to really niche it into to investing, and so the Everyday Investor.
It's always been obviously focused around investing in real estate.
Always focused on real estate.
Okay.
But sometimes maybe principal residence buy and sell as well.
Right.
With a large investing component. Now, exclusively for the real estate investor.
Look, Ravi, you have a really, really cool story, and that I knew our viewers, our listeners needed to see and hear. And I didn't know this really till probably only 4 or 5 years ago, that you started investing in real estate at a very young age.
Yes.
Like there's young people who get into real estate in their late 20s, and I get an opportunity. You've obviously crossed paths with thousands of them as well, but you started really young.
Yeah, I mean, I was like...
How old?
Kingston, Ontario.
Okay.
I don't know how mom ended up there. She was a nurse from India, and so here I am. And I just really get bored easy.
Okay.
You know, like if I love it, look out. If I don't, like I just go crazy. So I kind of got asked to leave 4 or 5 different high schools. Okay.
You got asked to leave. I love that.
Yes. And so then there was this thing called Co-op. I think they still have it.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. And so they put me with the largest, the city was like 60,000 people. Mm-hmm. And they put me with the largest real estate brokerage at 16. And then the rest is history. And then mom and I bought our first townhouse at 16. So somewhere out there, the radio station or a TV station was interviewing me. I'm a lot skinnier with a full head of hair, and we're talking about real estate investing.
Right.
And so that's what happened. So my first property was 16 with mom.
Okay.
And here we are 31 years later. I'm 47.
We're gonna get into all the stuff that you've done in specifically investing in real estate, but I still want to kind of focus around that age time.
Yeah.
So you're 16 years old. You've been asked, obviously, from a couple of schools to leave. Did you know really early on that like Rav and school didn't really go hand in hand?
I don't think so. Just later figured it out. Like I'm still barely finished high school.
Right.
I teach my kids the same thing. My kids are world schooled. some of my best friends are teachers.
Right.
But I always say that I don't want the school system to get into the way of their education. And, so reading, writing, math.
Right.
Reading, writing, math. I think math is good just to figure out directions and how to change a tire if you have to. You know what I mean? It does a lot. And then, reading, writing, it's good for conversational skills. But outside of that, like, if you know or don't know history, but you can build a computer at scratch, because you might want to do that at 13, as my son did, at the age of 13, that's a little bit better. You can use it. And then figure out, I don't want to do that. So then he worked on airplanes at the age 14. And then he renovated my house from top to bottom with a general contractor at the age of 16. And so that's a lot better, I think, than having to understand the molecules in a science class.
Sure. And algebra and calculus.
Unless that's what you want to do, right? And so that's why. And so my daughter, I hope she marries rich because she loves animals. Right. And so we're trying to figure out, is it a sanctuary one day? And specifically dogs,
Right.
So that's what she gravitates to.
Okay.
My son's gravitating to the trades.
Right.
And
so you obviously gravitated to real estate. Well, we know that at a younger age.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I think I love the challenge of making money, right? Like the entrepreneur type stuff. And so I think real estate is the best way to make a lot of money if that's what you want to do. I don't necessarily want to do that today.
In your life now.
In my life now, but I've done that and was focused on that, right? And so again, it depends on where you're at in your life and what kind of profile you see when you look in the mirror.
Through the years that you were doing, like actually investing in real estate yourself and the thousands of people you've come across through the show, what's some tips that we can give our listeners and viewers that, like life experiences through real estate investing, right? Yeah. I.e., is it as simple as just jumping in? Some people jump in, they don't know what they're getting themselves into. Yeah. I see that all the time. Yeah. What's some things that we can really, let our listeners in on, that some experiences that you've seen?
I mean, there's so many, but just off the cuff, I think first and foremost, why?
Why are you doing it?
Why are you doing it, right? If I...
Elaborate on that, man. Like, I know you and I have had these conversations for years and years and years.
Yeah. So for me, the most important thing in life is my faith, right? My God, my family, my friendships, such as you, right? To be able to walk into the restaurant and have a meal with you in our local Brampton
Sweet Palace
Indian
just off on a little tangent.
Food, yes,
by far the best Indian food.
Did you see Simeon when we brought him? Did you see it? Like God. He was his just like freaked out.
Yeah, right? He thought like Greek food's the best food. Like, give it to look Greek.
We said, dude, let us take you to Grandma's India hole in the wall. But anyways, so and what I want with friends and family and benevolent things, helping third world, children. Me and a friend, we were able to start an orphanage in Haiti, and these kinds of things, right? I want time. I want the greatest currency that exists. You can't get more of it. We sure know how to spend it. Right. We only have 168 hours in a week, all of us, and I want. And so we work for food, right? And instead of working for food, imagine if the food would just come in, so that I have the time to do what I want, when I want, with whom I want. And so that's the first thing, is you got to figure out why you're doing this, because we can all fall in the trap, and I have many times, and I still do from time to time, that we're just addicted to making money. We say it's for those reasons, but you look at your day timer, like, Jas, how much is enough? Right? There was a time where I said, a while back, and my good friend Peter Politis from Graybrook, he always reminds me, Rav, you said way back when that $7-8 grand a month net was good.
Right.
You hit that. It's not hard. And then, passively. And then you say, oh, maybe 11, 12, 13 grand a month net is good. And then
funny how you just almost doubled that number.
Yeah. Because all of a sudden, it was nice going to Turks and Caicos, but maybe I got to go monthly because this seasonal, I don't have enough vitamin D. I'm getting depressed. So there's lots of justifications.
Yes.
Of why we got to keep going. Right? Mm-hmm. So what I always tell people is, hey, listen, what's the number? What is it for you? Is it $120,000 a net year? Because that's not that hard. We can get you, $1 million in the bank and it'll spit you out 12%, but you got to be done.
Right.
Well, maybe I'm not done. And so you got to figure out why you're doing this. It's very important. We're addicted to making money.
Right.
And I'm not saying that's a good thing.
No.
In fact, I'm saying it's not a good thing. making money is a great thing, but being addicted to it and
being the master,
it being more important than relationships. Well, of course, no one's going to say that, but show me your daytimer and I'll let you know.
Well, look, I know you so well that you're living that now, where you're not in the the rat race, so to speak.
Yeah.
You homeschool your kids.
We have fun, Jas. We have fun, but I want to say this. Even though I was putting in 5 hours a week into my food, making money, I still, as you know, 4 years almost had a neural breakdown.
Yeah.
Because it's not even about what you're doing. It's not about even the time that's freed up. It's where's your brain in that time. I'd be, hanging with my daughter on our date time, having our special time together, and I'd drive by an empty, stinking piece of land, and I would say, outdoor storage. Yeah. I would say, hey,
it's in the blood.
Let's buy that thing and build it. How many houses can we put on that? Like, it's stupid. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's not even freeing up the time. It's being really aggressively honest, having intrusive accountability partners in your life to say, dude, I don't think you're happy. It's not what you really want to be doing. We've got to learn how to say no to really, really good things, to really, really good people who won't understand why you're saying no.
I guess it comes back to knowing your why.
That's right.
And then almost reverse engineering that.
Yeah,
right?
work backwards.
You work backwards.
How much money do I need?
And then figure that out.
Yeah, because the thing is, if you don't put a ceiling on it, we go play cards. Me and you like to play cards, okay?
Yeah.
If we play cards, I have a floor. I'm going to go to Jazzy's house. There's going to be a bunch of guys there. I'll lose $100.
Yeah.
Okay? But if I'm up $400, I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not leaving because it's friendship, but you get the point. The point is you got to leave sometime.
Yes.
Otherwise, you want to just keep making money. So that's why it's important. We all have a floor. We all know how much we're willing to invest, but when are we ready to stop so that we can do the things that really matter if we're honest? Something bigger than yourself, something benevolent, something, you know what I mean? So
for sure, I think, and that's where you can really live live out your passion, right?
Yes.
We were talking off air that this podcast and building out the team, it really is the passion.
Yeah.
I was probably telling someone on my team a couple of days ago, the first time I made $100,000.
Yeah.
I've never been as happy as that. And now I make more.
Yes.
But I've never been as happy as I was when I hit $100,000.
Yeah.
Now I make more, like I mentioned, but
with more comes more responsibility.
Exactly.
Yes.
But that excitement was at $100,000.
Yes.
And now everything else is like, I don't really need more. I don't need 2 cars. I don't need to go away all the time. It's the relationships.
Yeah, and so that's what I would say. So the biggest thing that I would want the the viewers to know is understand why you're doing this. So now that it's a great way to live a lifestyle, understand what your profile is. And what I mean by that is, do I want to just grow my capital because I'm not going to give up my day job? You know what I mean? Like, do I really need cash flow if I'm not giving up my day job?
Right.
So you want to ask yourself, do I want to grow capital? Do I want to take my $200,000 and make it $400,000? Right? Do I want to just grow it? And then even in that growing capital, do I want to work to grow it or do I want it to grow passively?
So the passive type of investment, and then you have the active investment.
Just in the growing the capital.
Right.
Then we come to the cash flow.
Right.
And it's the same thing. Yeah, no, I don't like my job. I do want to wean it out over time. And so I want cash flow. And so it's the same thing. Do I want cash flow that I work for or do I want cash flow passively? You know what I mean? So Jas, I'm going to give it to you. Here's an example of passive. I'm going to give it to you.
Yep.
You go put it into something that makes passive income.
Yep.
And we'll split the profits 50-50. But I'm still getting passive income.
Yes, because you're not doing anything.
That's right.
Yeah.
Or I'll go do it. I'll take a property, renovate it, whatever the case is. So you got to know what you want. Because there's a lot of people that say, oh, I just want a bunch of places and to tenant them out. And you're really cash flowing $300 a month, but you want your $6,000 a month.
Right.
Am I really going to get 20 properties?
No.
And keep my day job?
You don't see it.
So go back to the first point. Your why. Sometimes we create ourselves a second job. There's a great saying out there, I work 80 hours a week so I don't have to work 40.
Yeah.
We're stupid.
You got 2 jobs.
We're stupid. Yeah. Oh, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a big shot.
Yeah.
I work 80 to 100 hours a week, so I don't have to work 40. It's dumb. We're dumb.
Yeah.
We're dumb people. I'm the dumbest. Okay. My nature is the dumbest. But if somebody's nature is they want to sleep with everything they see, we know you don't do that.
Right.
If someone's nature is I'm prone to anger and that guy cut me off, I'm going to go shoot him.
Right.
We don't do that.
Right.
In the same way, if my nature is just to make money, it doesn't mean it's right. Like some people say, oh yeah, God made me like this, or no, your nature doesn't mean that it's always good.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
I'm not a dog.
Right.
You understand?
For sure.
So we other than the opposing thumb,
right,
us between an animal, we have the ability to delay any gratification that we want, right? So
right.
you have to be smart on that. So yes, one, why are you doing it? Don't be greedy. Two, know who you are and what you want.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for me, most people, what they really want, but they don't know it, is they want to grow their capital.
Yeah.
And they don't want to work for it. So grow.
You just want to create wealth.
Create wealth so that once you have your 2-3 million,
yep.
then it spits you out at that time.
Yep.
Then it will spit you out your 6-7-8%. Now you've got your 200,000 a year, whatever it is, right?
Yes.
So that would be the second thing. The third thing is, and I can't stress it enough, is education. It really is important. I mean, we've got some good friends, Michael and Scott. They're not the only outfit, but you want to attach yourself to somebody who is teaching this so that you can be with like-minded people. It's hard to do this. Everybody's saying you can't do it.
Yeah.
And what goes in your brain goes in your heart. What goes in your heart become your actions. And so you've got to be careful what goes in your brain. And so if you can surround yourself with people that are, educating you and belly to belly, you know me. I'm not a big social media kind of guy because I think it makes us lonelier than anything. And so you can learn this kind of stuff by listening to your podcast, which is very important. But you still need belly to belly. You still need to have, that
connection, that face to face. You got to meet with people, mastermind with people. New ideas come out, right? For sure.
There's a difference between me listening to Jas,
yes, and
me having coffee with Jas.
So true.
I'm going to benefit a lot more.
For sure.
I'm still benefiting
right
from listening.
Yeah.
But that should be an impetus to want to get with somebody, to be able to hold my hand. And then also, once you're established, you hold somebody else's hand.
You
right?
pay it forward.
Pay it forward, yeah.
I think you'll take more action by being with like-minded people because you'll see other friends do it.
Yeah.
It's like me. I watch what you've done, and it's like, okay, you know what, Raf, that makes sense, man. Like, how did you do it? Like, and then now we're putting it out to everyone.
Yeah.
You talked a lot about investing $100,000, $200,000 and making money passively, and that's where you've really excelled at, which has allowed you now to have the freedom of time. Like you choose what you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, like you and I, we're both, for even back home, the Punjabis, they big farmlands and sell the land and houses and tenants, and so that's all I've known. I mean, I've been a real estate broker. I've been I had my own brokerage. I've done every kind of, whether it's flip and an assignment, a buy and hold, a lease to own, rent to own, whatever, student, like I've done all that. But a good friend, like I mentioned, Peter Politis, about, almost a decade ago, introduced me to land development. Mm-hmm. And I thought land development was just for the billionaires, the multi-millionaires.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, and so when I figured out when I was taught that, then I became exclusively an investor of land development, and now also just brought on as a bit of a spokesperson for them, help with business development and that kind of stuff.
What did you like about it, though? When you heard it from Peter?
It's the only vehicle where I have found you can make the most amount of money with the least amount of work. Jas, again, we're all in different seasons. For me, call me stupid or call me smart, it really doesn't matter. I want to make the most amount of money with the least amount of work. And no, but I mean, it's not obvious because a lot of people love to do work, right?
Yeah.
And right now, for me, I'm not at that stage. I want to. I'm very active in a church that I'm trying to grow. I'm active in third world kids. I'm active. So that's just for me. That's what I want to be doing. There was a time where I really just loved the deal, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But right now I want to make the most amount of money, least amount of work, and joint venturing, partnering with the biggest players in the development space on an equity basis, not lending them money, but a pure split the profits is the best thing I've ever seen in terms of least amount of risk for me personally.
Are you okay to go into that a little bit more? Right, because there's a lot of listeners and viewers who have never even heard about this type of investing?
Sure. For example, Rav, Jas, and a whole bunch of investors will buy the land, they build on it, we split the profits 50-50. Now we're getting into value adds where we'll take, dilapidated buildings with thousands of units, and what you do is you just fix them up a little bit, and then it increases the value significantly, and then we maybe have a 5-year plan to. But more importantly, what do? I get a pen, and my checkbook, and I write a check.
So it's passive as it can get,
and it's passive, and the returns can be 20, 30. One of my last exits was 44%. Annualized, it was something like almost 90% over 2 years.
44%. And let's say on an average of the three numbers you said, you're flirting around 30-ish, 32% a year.
We say, Graybrick will say, we like to talk about, 20% annualized, double your money every, 4 or 5 years kind of thing. But, what, as opposed to what, 3, 4 with, if we're lucky?
Right.
1, 2.
In the bank?
Not in the bank.
Yeah, we know that.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
right.
So, and it can be cash invested.
Yeah,
and
of course cash, but most, many, registered. RSP, RESP, LIRA, TFSA,
And is that an easy process for someone? Like if it's stuck in your RSPs, it's just...
Graybrook, listen, I really loved coming into your office today.
Yeah.
What I really loved was when I walked in, it said, welcome Rav Toor.
Right.
I said to the girls up front, you didn't have to do that. Who's Rav Toor? No, just kidding. And so it's important, right? It's important. And Graybrook, I believe, is the Cadillac of investments. They take care of all these things for you.
For sure.
You don't have to do anything.
For sure.
It truly is a passive thing. But I'm in maybe 9 deals right now. And so as they all mature, because they're project specific, it's kind of like cash flow.
Right.
This one exits this time, this one exits this time, this one exits.
Because you're timing them differently, right?
Yeah.
You're making sure.
Yeah. Well, there's different times.
Right.
So if you're building a few condos, it might take 4, 5, 6 years. If you're building 100 townhomes, it might take 18 months. So it all depends on what you're investing in.
Now, if someone's thinking about, they don't have anything in their RSPs and they want to make their first investment, okay? Let's take it away for a second from a land development perspective. We know there's pre-construction condos, there is income properties with 2-3 doors, there is student housing. What would Rav do at a younger age now, like at 25, 27 years old? Because there's a lot of listeners in that age group that have $80,000 to $100,000 that they want to invest.
Yeah.
What path would you take them down?
So it depends what they're looking for, but if you're saying they're just looking to grow their wealth.
Create wealth and long-term wealth.
And they don't mind a little bit of work. A little bit of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go the conventional buy and hold strategy. Just buy something in an area that is going to increase in value and rent it out. Now which I did in the beginning, remember the good old days when you only needed 5% down for secondary, third, fourth, fifth properties. But what I would do a little differently is I would try to get at least 2 rents for the 1 furnace, right? Like try to get 2 a duplex or up down, maybe even a tri. Quad maybe not if it was my first, but maybe even just like 3 units for the one, so you have 3 different tenants because you're gonna, to replace the roof or the furnace it's still the same, but I'm getting 3. Type things.
And one's not rented out, the other 2 cover it.
Exactly. So that's maybe what I would do different, but definitely if you're starting, just go buy an investment property and get your feet wet. But real estate can be very forgiving unless you're in the rental world. But if you can have somebody like you, I know, Jas, you have tons of turnkey properties. If I wanted that, I'd come to you and I'd say, give me a turnkey property. Turnkey meaning it's all done.
It's all done for you.
Might even have a tenant in it. So actually, weren't you just offering that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were offering something that was already tenanted, guaranteed for
2 years.
2 years, something
2
like
years
that,
managed for you, fully guaranteed.
You're one of the only emails that I allow to come in my.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that.
So I saw that you were.
So that means we're doing an okay job with that stuff. So good.
But that's very cool.
Right.
I could buy an investment property and it's already tenanted out.
Right.
So that's what I'd probably do if I had $80,000 and it was my very first gig.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you want to start small.
Yeah.
Right? What's your thoughts on like joint ventures and stuff like that? Aside, I think I know you do it on a big level with Graybrook, but just joint ventures, you and I, did you do a lot of that at a younger age? Did you get involved?
That's all I did.
Yeah?
But I was the working guy.
Got it.
Yeah. I mean, I got investment properties, people, if they trust you, they want that as well. So I would say to people, give me your money, I'll do the work, we'll split it. But I had I think a 1-year contract because I love, I wanted these guys to benefit. So I think I had a 1-year contract. So I made my money on the purchase because I was in the real estate business at that time.
Okay.
But I also had a 1-year contract that was optional for them to rip up that joint venture. And most ripped it up because they were just scared at first. Right. So I helped them. I didn't care. I made money on the purchase anyways. They're friends, I'm close friends, but still time.
Right.
Taking away from my kids.
For sure.
So I made my money on the thing, and I would have done a 50-50 split with them. That's what we wrote down.
Right.
But I gave them the option to rip it up after a year because they would have the confidence. And that's what they did. A lot of them.
That's...
Then later, I reversed it.
Yeah.
And so now I give my money to the developer. And I still would, like, let's say you were doing something, Jas. You were doing some real big flip.
Okay.
On a large scale. Not like so large like with Graybrook. Those builds are 300,
just
400 million.
Taking a bungalow and adding a story.
We're in High Park.
Got it.
Toronto.
Yeah.
And you want to take this nice, beautiful big house and turn it into 7 bedrooms, and it's maybe a $2 million deal or something. And you need some money. I would give you my money, you do all the work, and we would split. So I would still do that today, as long as, if I just told you I'm making great returns with Graybrook, they'd have to be great returns.
For sure.
But I'm still always open to do that. My son's 18. For giggles, he's getting his real estate license. So
congrats to him.
So I can do maybe a flip with him.
Oh, that's nice. I like that.
So little things like that.
Well, it's kind of cool, right? Like someone started this with your mom, and now you're kind of doing it with him.
Just because he's 18 and to go into the trades, like to be a commercial electrician,
right?
Which I think he wants to do. It's a 5-year apprenticeship. But I still want my son. I want to hang with my buddy, right? So I said, he decided that, maybe he'll do that at 23.
Right.
He's 18.
Yeah.
So for the next 5 years, let's goof around. And I don't mean goof around, play video games.
No, I know.
Goof around, like go flip a house or something,
Let's go find something together.
Yeah.
I mean, you're driving around, taking a look at homes.
Yeah,
I love the fact that this is one of the main reasons I also wanted you here, Rav, because you're a real story, dude. Like, you are living it.
Yeah.
Real estate has given you this.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You've made the decisions. Obviously, like, you've taken action. What most people are probably scared of the most is just taking that first step, like you said, with the joint venture stuff, right?
Yes, thank you. I do want to say, all credit to my mom, single mom, raised 2 kids. Dad left when he was like, 5. When I was like 5, my sister was 3.
Okay.
In an all-white town, Kingston, where she's struggling to learn English. And she said, my son's never going to know that he doesn't have a dad. I played hockey. I had music lessons. She worked, night shift as a nurse, slept when we were in school.
Auntie, shout out to you.
Yes, and she is just a very faithful, God-conscious woman. And she taught me that. And so that's where... you can, when you really believe that there's something bigger taking care of you, then you can do things, so long as they seem right? I'm not saying, hey, walk off a cliff and God's going to take care of me. But when you have a God consciousness, which my mom did and instilled in us, so I just wanted to say for what it's worth,
for sure,
how much I love my mom. She's my greatest hero.
I love it.
80 some years old right now. In India, they don't really know how old they are, right?
That's so true.
She's
same thing with my grandparents.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
When they came over, something happened with their...
Well, one thing says 1935, and the other thing says 1942.
Well,
so
she
used
I usually see
7
2
years.
things. Yeah.
So she used the 1935 for retirement. Why not? And then she used 1942 just to feel young.
I love it.
So, yeah.
Instilling confidence. You mentioned that my 2 boys are 5 and 3.
Yes.
Your son and daughter are older now.
18 and 15.
18 and 15. What's some tips for me, man?
Yeah, lots of time. What I'm doing with you right now, I rarely do.
I know.
You're my buddy.
I know.
I rarely do, right? Even so much as I was walking out the door, my daughter said, "Can I come?" Right? And so I'm meeting with the producer for my TV show, The Everyday Investor, right after this.
Yeah.
Killed 2 birds with 1 stone. So I said to her, honey, you're going to get bored.
Yeah.
But normally I'd bring her. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? For fun, I still do film and TV stuff, right?
Yes.
A little bit of acting here and there. And so when I go on my auditions, I'm in the promised land of Brampton. I got to come all the way downtown.
Right.
I bring the kids with me. I bring, whether it's my wife, my son, my daughter, we hang, we talk, so on and so forth. So that's what I would say is the secret. There's no magic. The secret's time.
Yeah.
There's no magic. The secret is quantity. Quantity births quality.
I'm definitely trying more from that perspective. I'm so excited. I'm taking my 5-year-old to a Raptors game, his first game.
Nice.
At the end of February, so in the next
Beautiful.
couple of weeks. And honestly, man, I've been doing this business now for 14 years.
Yes.
Growing a cool
I remember
team.
when I
Got the
first met you.
podcast. I put a lot of deals together. I help a lot of clients. I'm probably most excited about this Raptors game. I've been to hundreds of Raptors games. This is the one.
Yeah, you know, if you really are honest and you ask yourself, what gives me the true, pure bliss?
Yeah.
What gives me the greatest serenity? What gives me the greatest peace? Walking around the lake, Professor's Lake, with my family and our dog.
Yes.
Going to the greasy, cheap Indian place, right?
Yeah.
Sitting on the couch and the four of us watching episodes of Little House on the Prairie.
Right.
Like
Is that the one that you're watching now?
for the third time.
Wow.
Third time that season. That's how I want to live. Man, these guys were tight.
There's a lot of good shows out there, though.
Listen, the greatest two fictional characters. Charles Ingalls and Rocky Balboa.
Oh.
Come on. Those are the two greatest.
So are you excited about the what's coming out? What's the name?
Creed 2?
Creed 2.
Oh, dude,
I'm
that's
so
so
pumped.
way back when.
I'm so
That's
pumped.
so way back.
I know, but I'm saying
I've already seen that.
I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah,
I
it's
still haven't had
fantastic.
the time to go and see, but I'm so pumped to see
Yeah.
that.
So, anyways, dude, it's the simple things, right?
Yeah.
It's just the simple things in life, and they don't cost much money. That's the funny part.
Yeah.
The simple
It's so
things,
true.
the ones that really
Well,
you
look at
enjoy.
the three things that you
what does it
mentioned,
cost?
right?
Yeah.
Really? I mean,
hanging out,
Yeah.
watching it. You don't always have to go to the theater and spend $100 a shot with but you could.
Yeah.
But just to sit around, talk, laugh, But I want to reiterate.
For sure.
That's not natural for me. That's not natural for me. You know what I mean? I'm not the guy that goes to the beach and builds a sandcastle with my kid.
Mm-hmm.
It's not natural. But just because it's not natural doesn't mean I shouldn't be doing it. Because when you're doing it, then I say, wow, this is amazing.
especially after you finish up with them, like having lunch or going to the movies or watching Little House on the Prairie. It's
Yeah.
I'm glad I did that.
It's like the gym, man. Look at me. Like, I mean, my whole life I'm a mess, you know what I mean? For the gym. But when I'm in the gym, I love it. Get me to the gym, forget about it. Like, I wish I could, my son says, if you could have any, superhero power, what would it be? I'd be like, teletransport, of course. So many things like that. I know I should be, even a social outing, a party.
Right.
Dude, I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm 47. I don't want to go. You know what I mean? I got to get dressed up. I have this. But if I could just teletransport,
Just go.
boom, I'm there.
You're
right?
there.
And so that's the irony. The things we love to do, we often don't do. The
So
things
true.
the things that we don't really like to do, but makes us money, we're all over it. You know what I mean? So
One of the first conversations I had with you years back was when you told me that you were renting for a while.
Yes.
Because you invested all your money into real estate.
yes.
And obviously us being realtors and first thought when I heard it, I was like, well, that just doesn't really make sense. Like,
Yes.
why are you not owning?
Yeah.
And this was really early on in my career as well.
Yeah.
But when you talked me through it, I was like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Like you need to get your first home.
Yeah.
And then you put all your money into all your capital.
Yeah, I mean,
into investing into real estate, and you rented yourself. Where did you get that concept from, man?
No, this is not an opinion.
Okay.
It's a fact.
Right. I know where you're going.
It's a
Yeah,
fact.
yeah.
We've been crazy the last however many, 10 years in Toronto, right? And so obviously I'm wrong if we're talking about 10, 11, 12, 15% year growth on the price of my house,
Yes.
Year after year. But if we give the traditional
Yep.
50-year average of
Yep.
3%,
Yep.
you take your house and you increase it 3%,
Yep.
right? That's the only money you're making in your house, correct? That's the only money.
Yep.
But what people don't
In your
want
principal residence.
on your principal residence.
Yeah. I just want to clarify that.
Yeah,
That's what we're talking about.
principal residence.
Yep.
So what people don't want to look like or never calculate
Yep.
is, so first of all, I bought that property.
Yes.
I got to put my 5-10% down or whatever it is, and now I've got the rest mortgage. Okay? Even before that, in this beautiful city of Toronto, we pay double land transfer tax. We pay a lawyer. You don't generally pay a realtor, but we pay land transfer tax. We pay a lawyer.
Some closing costs. here and
We
there,
have
but-
our closing costs.
Yep.
We have a mortgage where the majority in the beginning is all interest. The money's going into the garbage. We have property tax. We have maintenance of the home. We have what I call emotional maintenance. It's funny when I was renting how the backsplash never bothered me.
It's true.
Now that I own the house, let's change it 10 times.
You have a beautiful home.
You know what I'm
and
saying?
Your beautiful wife, I know, did all of it.
She's gorgeous.
Shout
She's
out
beautiful.
to Sinead.
Yes.
Shout out.
Yeah. So when you add all those numbers up,
Right.
you do not break even. Fact, pen and paper, economics. You don't break even until you're 4 to 6.
Yep.
You're not going to break even.
Yep.
Well, peekaboo, the reason why there's $50,000 realtors in the GTA is, and only like 1 or 2 of them are good, Jas and Simeon.
Thank you.
Is that people move, peekaboo.
Yes.
Every 4 to 6 years. Let me say that again. On our principal residence with 3% inflation, we break even every 4 to 6 years. We're moving every 4 to 6 years.
Yep.
It's dumb.
Yep.
Now, that's just speaking economically.
Yep.
I rented a beautiful house on the lake
Yes.
for 4 years. I had a neuro breakdown. I spent $1,000, doctors and naturopaths. They spanked me. They slapped me. They said, walk the lake. Bro, I lived on this lake,
know it.
and it has a beautiful 3-kilometer walk. I never walked it.
Right.
I walked the lake. I got my daughter the beautiful black lab named Moses because he leads you to the water.
Yeah.
He told me to go buy a stinking axe. I bought an axe. I chop wood. I make fires. And I'm not saying this is the solution to anxiety,
Right.
depression, so on and so forth.
Right.
If God wants you to take medicine, you take medicine.
Sure.
In my case, took medicine for a short while, did these things, and was weaned off. And because I was weaned off, I said, you know what? There's more to life than money. This has been therapy. I went to my friend who was the owner, and I bought the house. So I bought the house, but not for economics.
Right.
I bought the house for therapy. But if you don't have any money,
Yes.
home ownership is the best way for you to build equity, as long as you don't fool yourself and refinance all the time to pay off the debts because you were living, in a way that you should, right? Living beyond your means.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, they have a house, they live beyond their means, they want to clean it up, they refinance. If you don't refinance, home ownership is a wonderful thing to be able to generate your first couple $100,000.
And take that's what I really want to clarify.
Then you sell your house, own real estate, but don't have to live in what you own. So for example, Toronto is sick. It's always going to go up.
Yep.
Toronto.
Yep.
But somebody wants to live in Guelph.
Yep.
Live in Guelph.
Yep.
But get Jazzy to help you buy a nice condo downtown Toronto.
And you can just Airbnb it. You can rent out. There's so many options.
Whatever. But the point is I can rent anywhere I want. Now, what kind of tenant do you think I am to that person? I'm in the driver's seat. When they know I could buy the house, but I decide to rent.
Yes.
Hey, by the way, landlord, shovel my driveway.
Yes.
Cut my lawn. We're going to sign a lease, one by one, 1 year, with a 1 year option, with a 1 year option. I'm in the driver's seat
For sure.
as a tenant,
Right.
Because they know I could buy the house,
Exactly.
but I choose not to. So they're really going to take care of you. So it's great advantages. I mean, so many affluent people in Manhattan, they don't own.
You're taking the words out of my mouth. I was just about to say that the guys like
Sorry, they don't
Zuckerberg-
own the house they live in.
I was just about to say that the guys from Uber, Travis and CEO of Uber and Mark from Facebook and a lot of wealthy people.
Yeah.
They thought of their principal residence as a business.
It's the same thing with my vacation.
Yeah.
I go rent a house. A couple years back, I went and rented a house for two months in Florida. I don't want to own, because if I own it, then, a good place, you can't rent it out.
Yeah.
Right? It's gated community, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I may not want to go to Florida. So 1 year I go to Florida for 2 months. The next year I go to India for 6 weeks. Another place I go. So it's just freeing. That's what it is. It's freeing. It's only, this society over here in North America. I mean, you go to Europe, they're like, own what? Like everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all renting, right?
For sure. As long as you're smart enough to reinvest it.
Of course.
It's not spend it
You
on.
need to own real estate.
Right.
In my opinion.
For sure.
You need to own real estate. You just don't need to live in it.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
What's happening with the show now, man? Can
Same
you let us in
thing.
on anything? Or?
No, we're cranking. Yeah, we're going to be on. We got another network this year, CTV.
Congrats.
So CTV, CHCH, Real Estate Channel. No, just keep trying to crank and educate different investment strategies, because people think real estate investing is just buy and hold. They don't know there's oodles of different strategies, and that's all I want to do is be able to share with people. I mean, the secrets. I'll reveal the secret here. It airs many times a week, 52 weeks of the year.
Right.
But as you know, I shoot 26 episodes in 1 week, and then it repeats.
Rav, I know you don't do this a lot, and you took the time out to take the drive here.
Relationship. That's why.
I love you.
Yes, I love you too.
Like
yes.
you've been amazing to me for a very long time. And I just really want to say thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank
Good
you,
times,
man.
brother.
For sure.
If I could reach, I'd give you a hug and a kiss. But
we'll take some pictures doing that.
We'll leave it at that.
Thanks a lot, brother.
This has been the REC Experience Podcast with Jas Takhar, an REC Canada production.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching the REC Experience. Please make sure to subscribe, like, and share. Click here to watch and experience more videos from REC.